Well, good morning. I have not made it out of my tent yet. It's 6 a.m., so actually that's pretty late for me. But kind of a rough night. That knee injury is super painful. And I'm in the middle of the woods, so I got to figure out what to do. Working on getting some messages out. Thank God I have service, so trying to see if I could find somebody who could pick me up at the nearest road crossing and get me to an urgent care and get it checked out. I don't know how that's going to work out. I haven't had a thunderous response, but I will keep you posted, and I'll try to figure that out in the next hour or so and decide what to do and which way to hike. Yeah. All right, well, I have good news, which is a good thing because I was in tears and about to push my SOS button, which I've never done before, and I hope I never have to. But I did find a ride, and there's a road crossing about 3/4 of a mile from where I camped. And although when I first got out of the tent, I could barely walk, I think if I moved around enough, I can manage to pack up and hobble there within the next 2 hours, which is about when she's going to be able to come and pick me up. So I am going to work on that project and get my butt to urgent care, find out what is going on with my knee, and take it from there. Well, I managed to get the tent packed up, and I am walking very gingerly. Hopefully my knee will continue to loosen up a little bit. I've got 3/4 of a mile to go and an hour and 20 minutes to do it. Hopefully that's plenty of time. There's a lake there through the trees. I am very extraordinarily thankful that the stretch of trail I have to re-hike this morning is flat and not rocky. Makes it so much better than if I had to navigate what I was dealing with at the beginning of the hike yesterday. So, counting my blessings. Well, made it to my pickup point. Today has not turned out to be the day that I had hoped it would be. Pretty much of a bummer of a day. I did hike out this morning, and I had to wait quite a while for my ride to come because there were some traffic issues, and I was kind of in the middle of nowhere off Mount Watson Road. So 𝐂𝐶 came to pick me up to take me to South Lake Tahoe, which is on the southeast side of the lake. To get where I was in the northwest side of the lake, she ended up actually having to drive all the way up to Reno and then back down to avoid some traffic problems that were happening. So I waited about an extra hour to get picked up, and then it was an hour or so, maybe an hour and a half to get down into South Lake Tahoe. She was kind enough to stop at the hostel where I was supposed to be staying. I had a reservation for a couple of nights from now when I was supposed to be celebrating the end of the trail, and I had to cancel that, and I didn't have anything available for tonight. So I waited around for a while to see if there was a cancellation, but there wasn't. I decided to just go ahead and book my own room at another place. So I am here. And in the interim, I went to urgent care and had x-rays on my knee to try to figure out what was going on, and got a fancy new brace that I'll be sporting for a little while till it gets better. But the problem I was having on that knee is swelling right here, and it's apparently the MCL tendon that attaches the femur through the knee and down to your tibia bone on the inside of your shin. It's not happy. It's very unhappy, and so I can't be doing any more hiking right now. And even though I didn't have a fall or some kind of an accident that would cause that swelling, the estimate from the doctors was that it was a repetitive stress injury from coming downhill and doing all those rocks and steps and stuff on that section of the trail, that it just aggravated that tendon to the point where when I got out of bed this morning and I got out of the tent, I literally could barely walk. I couldn't put my slippers on. I couldn't take 3 steps. And I was really worried that I was going to have to press my SOS button on my inReach. And I was sitting in my tent trying to figure out what that might look like when I heard back from 𝐂𝐶, and she said that yes, she would be able to get me if I could get myself back to that road that was not far from the Tahoe Rim Trail. And that's how the day went. And I am now just kind of packing up, organizing, getting ready to fly with my gear. Certain things have to be in my day pack that I take with me as my carry-on. Certain things have to be in the pack because they have to be checked, have to make sure I don't take my fuel, all that good stuff. And none of that was in my head this morning. Honestly, I was really kind of hoping that I'd get checked out and the doctor would maybe give me a cortisone shot or something like that and say, go ahead and, get back on the trail and finish this last few days. But because I have a limited time schedule, I don't have a lot of days to sit and rest. I can't take a week off and then go back to the trail. So I'm going to have to come back at some other point and finish the Tahoe Rim Trail. But I did get almost 3/4 of the way done, so I feel really good about that. It was an amazing experience. Absolutely gorgeous trail. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And such a wonderful experience that I really would encourage you to tackle it if you're interested, if you think it would be something that you would like to do. And stay tuned in the future. Hopefully someday you'll see me get back and knock out those last few miles. I do have arrangements to get home tomorrow. I was able to change my flight, although it did cost a pretty penny. And of course, just staying in South Lake Tahoe, anywhere in this area that is in peak vacation time and it's a weekend, things are not cheap. So sadly, it's cost a lot to get injured and go home, and that's a big bummer too. But I will be happy to be home with my partner and my dog and be able to recuperate in the comfort of my own home versus trying to hole up in a hotel or something and just spending tons of money waiting for my knee to get better. It'll be a much more pleasant experience to be able to recuperate at home, and this way I'll have a few days off before I need to go back to work so I can rest and ice my leg, and hopefully it'll be doing a lot better within the next couple of days. I got to the airport about 3 hours early for my flight, which I could have spent that time gambling. But instead, I washed my sorrows down in a Big Mac and milkshake, some French fries, and spent some time thinking about how I feel about not being able to complete the trail. I'm not gonna lie, yesterday was a pretty crappy day. And today, when I should be 3 days away from finishing my Tahoe Rim Trail through hike, I am wandering through the Reno airport, hobbling around with my makeshift cane, trekking pole, that thankfully security didn't take away from me, and my brand new fancy knee brace, feeling defeated. Those times in life when you feel like a failure are pretty icky. I know there's another word for it, but I'm not going to say it because I try to keep this channel family friendly. But yeah, feeling like a failure is not good. And I end up beating myself up, thinking all the bad things, like I'm not good enough. I'm not really a thru hiker. I am weak. I am old. All that stuff. And you may have been there too. So normally I would keep those feelings to myself. But I think that failure is a byproduct of trying big things, and it's something that we ought to share and talk about so that it is something that is not shameful. It's something that just happens when you push in life and try to go for the big goals. I failed. I failed because my body failed me, not because my mind or my heart or my spirit failed, but my body wouldn't do what I wanted it to do. My body got hurt, and sometimes that happens. I think there's a lot of ways to deal with failure in life, and one of them is just to curl up in a ball and wallow in it, which I think doing that for a minute is okay. But really what you take away from it is where the lessons are, and I would think that once I get home and I have a couple of days to rest, once my knee's feeling better, I'm going to look back on this adventure as one of the best experiences in my life. It was an amazing trail. I had a great time. I pushed myself hard, and I did most of it, so that is a good thing. To be honest, I have shed more than a few tears over having to leave the trail early, but I wanted to share all this with you because I know that I am not the only one who has feelings. I'm human, and as humans, we all have some of these feelings of inadequacy and failure and just being upset with ourselves sometimes. So I hope that sharing my feelings will help you conquer yours when things happen to you that are not the best. And I guess all we can do is just keep trying to do the things that we love to do and trying to build the lives that we want to live. And sometimes there will be setbacks, but more often than not, we'll have amazing experiences on this wonderful journey.